Today, Mushroom Cloud reviews The Burial with Jamie Foxx as a lawyer who assists a funeral homeowner, Tommy Lee Jones, in defending his family's business against a powerhouse corporation. A woman is suspected of her husband's murder, and their blind son finds himself in a moral conundrum as the sole witness in Anatomy of a Fall. Before we get started, be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell for new movie reviews and essays. When a handshake transaction goes bad, funeral homeowner Jeremiah O'Keefe, played by Oscar winner Tommy Lee Jones, seeks the help of charming, smooth-talking attorney Willie E. Gary, played by Oscar winner Jamie Foxx, to salvage his family business. In this inspiring, triumphant narrative based on a true story, tempers boil and hilarity erupts as the odd pair connect while exposing corporate wrongdoing and racial injustice. Writers Do Wright and Jonathan Harr, along with director Maggie Betts, crafted something special together with this movie. There were too many things in the story that worked wonderfully. The introductions of almost all the characters, mainly the funeral homeowner O'Keefe and his lawyer Gray, were both memorable. Right away, in their characterizations, we were informed of their values and their beliefs. O'Keefe and Gray shared similar, poignant values. So they hit it off right from the start, which had taken away from the conflict. But this type of true life story didn't need them to be at odds as they were on the same team. What conflict they had was exposed in the trial with the help of their opposition. They had solid opposition too, represented by Ray Lewin, the CEO of the Lewin Group, played by Bill Camp, and his black female lead attorney Mama Downs, played by Journey Smollett. The stakes were considerably high for both sides, but more so for O'Keefe, who was in jeopardy of losing the legacy he built and wanted to leave behind for his 13 kids and many more grandchildren. The story structure was great, even though at times it felt like it had Hollywood's finger tipping the scale for the sake of drama. The court scenes felt melodramatic and unrealistic. It doesn't help that Mama Downes was one of the many things that wasn't true about this true story. She was hired by Lewin to win over the black judge, and mostly black jury. The dialogue was mostly good and funny despite expository moments, and the directing was above average. There were great performances by all, especially Foxx's best since his Oscar-winning performance in 2004's Ray, and Tommy Lee Jones since 2007's In the Valley of Elah. It's also worth mentioning Mahmoud Athi, who played Hal Dawkins, the young, smart, budding attorney who was already working for O'Keefe, bringing Gray to O'Keefe's attention. Athi is an actor to watch. What we enjoyed most, outside the values that both Gray and O'Keefe held, was the camaraderie among them, watching them also bond off early 90s music, which played a major part in the film's soundtrack. It's always good to see upwardly mobile African Americans, as you see in Gray, a rags to riches story, Dawkins, and their opponent Downs. Even when Gray went to break the ice with Downs, the lead opposing attorney, we were enthralled by a potentially intense discourse, mostly stemming from Downs' icy laser focus, evolving into a light-hearted moment that shed light on their commonalities as African American success stories. We highly recommend this hugely entertaining, feel-good movie, giving it a 7.5 out of 10. Our next movie is called Anatomy of a Fall. It starts with a man who is discovered dead in the snow outside the secluded chalet, where he resided with his wife Sandra, a German writer, and their partially sighted 11-year-old son Daniel. An investigation leads to the conclusion of suspicious death. It is difficult to know whether he committed suicide or was murdered. Sandra, played by Sandra Hüller, is charged, and we follow her trial as it unravels her strained relationship with her husband. Daniel is stuck in the middle. Doubts also strain the mother-son connection between the trial and their daily lives. The movie starts fast with Sandra being interviewed in her home about her new book, while her childish husband interrupts sporadically, blasting from Another Room Pimp by Bakayo Rhythm and Steel Band, a German funk cover of rapper 50 Cent's song Pimp. This immediately shows us the conflict between husband and wife. Moments later, after the interviewer leaves, the husband is found dead on the snow-covered ground, blood streaming from his head. He had fallen from the attic window of the family's home. This is our inciting incident, and it's a strong one. Soon, We are whisked into this investigation, mostly conducted by her defense attorney, which is all well and good, except we don't know much about the players involved before the tragedy. All we know is that there is conflict between husband and wife, and the husband is a rude brat. So we weren't sure if we really cared about what happened to him, or that the wife was suspected of harming him. We go from a solid, promising start to this slow burn with her attorney trying to get to the bottom of what happened. If her goal was to clear her name, Sandra's main opponent was the prosecution waiting for her in the courtroom scenes that came eventually. Hay, the prosecutor, was a worthy opponent with a strategic plan of attack, in his efforts to show her as the monster he believes she is. The more consistently interesting conflict was the one she had with her partially blind son Daniel, played by Milo Mercado-Grainer, who also had questions. The most compelling thing about the film was its central moral problem, which asks, can a woman be honest about her ambition and failing marriage without being punished for it? Even her attorney tells her that she is only guilty of succeeding where her husband failed, so we are to believe, of course. There is no denying the great performances in this movie. Sandra Hüller will most likely get an Oscar nomination for actress in a leading role for playing the flawed wife and mother, who, despite her better intentions, can be fierce, calculating, and overly ambitious, which only makes you wonder if she is capable of the crime or not. Don't be surprised if Milo Mercado-Grainer is mentioned during award season as well. The courtroom scenes did a great job of revealing the characters and the tumultuous marriage in question. We only wish that the movie delivered the psychological thrills as advertised. The film dragged in the beginning, but picked up when it finally arrived at the core problem revealed in the courtroom. It could have been an hour shorter, but if you're into whodunits, then this movie is for you, recommending it with a 6.7 out of 10. Now for a recap. 7.5 out of 10 for The Burial, the enormously entertaining, feel-good movie of the year with great performances and important theme. And we give Anatomy of a Fall a 6.7 out of 10. It was a slow burn lasting an hour too long, but it works well as a whodunit courtroom drama with a satisfying conclusion. Do you agree with our take on these new releases? Leave a comment, whether you agree or not. Maybe we can have a friendly debate. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. And if you want to see our future film reviews and essays, click the subscribe button and the notification bell for new videos. That's it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with reviews of more movies, which include Killer of the Flower Moon, the new Martin Scorsese film set in 1920. It revolves around what is known as the Reign of Terror in American history, where members of the Osage Native American tribe were systematically murdered after oil was found on their land. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. That's next week, and until the next video, we're signing out.